Ew, Pleb Man here. Sorry, I haven't had my morning coffee yet. And I think this is the first time in a while I've done a morning video. So here it is. I got my wonderful cat Embers here. Wearing a different hat too. For those of you who've read Wheel of Time, you will recognize this. This is from the Matt Cawthon's group, Band of the Red Hand. And it says time to roll the dice in the old tongue from Wheel of Time. The book series, because of course the book series is amazing, and I don't know about the show. I've been doing reviews. I need to finish watching it. Apparently they're canceling it, which I'm so thankful for. But anyways, not what I want to talk about. What I did want to talk about is a little bit of a catch-up. Is this new thing, it feels new to me, where they're taking previously successful IPs in movies like Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon, and they're making them live action. They also did it. Disney's been doing this for a while with Snow White, and Cinderella I think was their first one that they did, and they've kind of hit all the ones that they can. And frankly, I don't really like it, with some minor exceptions, like Lion King. I don't really like it, with some minor exceptions. And this is kind of my issue, is that I want to talk about it and, put it out there. I didn't really have anything deep to say other than, part of me, it feels like laziness. And in a way it is, where taking Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon, which I just saw both of those in theaters. So I'm part of the problem because I'm supporting both of them. Mind you, I have a kid. Mind you, he's 2.5, so it's not really his fault. But I have a wife who loves Disney and loves these animated films, and I love them too. How to Train Your Dragon and Lilo and Stitch are great examples of movies that I love, period, to this day still. And yet, I kind of wish they didn't do a live action. I'll take Lilo and Stitch, both of Lilo and Dragon, How to Train Your Dragon. They felt like almost shot for shot redos. So they just took pretty much the same script and they just did it again. And this time they hired real actors because it's live action, and really good CG because technology is advanced in 20 years. Who'd have thought? And my issue with that is like, okay, but you didn't really bring more to the story. I'm not getting more. I'm getting the same story that I already have. I already have the DVD. I can watch whenever I want. It's just now you're forcing me to compare the previous one to this one. And I can't help but feel like it's a cash grab. Now, there was, off the top of my head, one transition that I really a live action remake that I actually liked. And I understand the point of a remake is it's literally remaking it, okay? And I can respect that, okay? Because that's what they're doing. And if you change it too much, you're going to get people who don't like. But interestingly enough, a good example of them changing it up a lot, and it was bad in my opinion, worse, was The Lion King. And for those of you who loved and watched The Lion King, it's amazing. But I felt like with Scar, not only did they not have Scar's song, but the hyenas were weird. Everything was weird. And it wasn't really live action because you can't have animals act. So it was really just animated more. And maybe they shot some and got some footage in Africa, but it was basically just totally animated, just really live looking animation. And that was, in my opinion, a dud. A lot of people saw it, so it made tons and tons of money. A hit and miss example would be Aladdin. There was parts of it that I thought were really good. I thought Will Smith did a really good job. Now, this is pre-controversy Will Smith. I thought he did a good job of making Genie his own thing and not trying to do Robin Williams' version. So that's one that I'm kind of like, depending on what side of the fence. I didn't really love it. It was from one of my favorite directors of all time, Guy Ritchie, but it felt like he was just doing a Disney movie for the paycheck, and then was like, I'm going to go back doing the other stuff I normally do. I'm like, please do, because you're really good at that. And I really like that. But then You have the new movies, Lilo and Stitch, and How to Train Your Dragon. And my problem with them is they were like so on the nose, exactly the same. And I get it, it's a remake, but I didn't feel like I got anything more out of it. And if anything, Lilo and Stitch was frustrating because it felt weird. Like you have these two aliens, and the voice actors did okay, and then they're transitioning into humans. They're becoming humans, and it was like, well, it just felt weird, and just a weird thing. And they changed out one character, the secret agent guy. Instead of having him, they had this other like person come, this social worker, and it was just, they added some other characters too, like the next door neighbor, and to me it wasn't bad, it just was not needed. And I feel like the things that they did changed for the worse, and they pretty much didn't change anything else. And to me it just felt weird, and it made me just want to watch the original and enjoy that because it was that much better. Now, times where I felt like they either took the IP and they made something kind of different with it, like Cruella. There's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts, and people are like, well, Cruella wasn't really that good, it wasn't that successful, and it's like, okay, sure, but it's a movie, and I appreciated that they tried to do an origin story of Cruella. Kind of would have preferred her being more evil or whatever, nitpick, but like generally it was a solid movie. But probably one of my favorite live actions was Cinderella, because there's not much to that story, and they took it and they actually made it something really good and really interesting and beautiful and aesthetic, and expanded on the story in a good way. So I really like that. I wish they would do more. I'm kind of surprised they haven't done a Sleeping Beauty, and maybe they have and I just haven't known, but like, you know, that would be interesting. So I would really like Disney and these other guys to, if they're gonna do that, do stuff where you take it and you take advantage of this being live action, and it can be a bit more grown up. It doesn't have to be serious, but a bit more grown up, not just taking the exact story and copy and pasting it. But I think Hollywood generally has this problem where it's like, well, we have things that work, have things that are successful, we need to make money because they're a publicly traded company, so they'll just churn out this thing and spend a bunch of money, and you know. And it's kind of a separate point, a separate issue that I have with Hollywood in general, where they keep spending like these big budget movies, $200 million, and they have to make like 600 plus 800 million to break even, which unfortunately most movies don't do that. So if it doesn't work, then they're just in the hole. And part of me is like, why are you spending so much money on this? It shouldn't cost that much. But they keep doing it, and to me, I think it's just a symptom of Hollywood accounting. I think Hollywood's also running into this issue where their previous cash cows, which were the DVD market, no longer are cash cows. So, because they don't exist, now everything's streaming. So there's a lot of changes happening, and I'm interested to see what happens. And I'm interested to know what your opinion, what was your favorite live action that you saw? Do you even watch them? Are you part of the target audience? I am now because I'm married with a kid, but like before I really wasn't. So if I'd watch it, it's because I was interested or whatever, but I knew it wasn't made for me. So if I didn't like it, then okay, well, it wasn't made for you. In the great words of Brie Larson, it wasn't made for you. So glad that woman's quiet for a minute. Anyhow, that's it for now. I'm gonna get back to doing other stuff. Love you all. Happy 5th. Hope you had a good July 4th. I did. It was very chill, but spent some time with the in-laws, wife, watched The Patriot. It was good. Had a fire. Yeah. Love you all. Fly man out. Bye-bye.